Welcome to The Lock Shop with Nielson and Hustler, powered by Coolbet Canada.
All right, it's 11 o'clock and The Lock Shop is live on a Monday. Thank you very much for being here. Have you filled out your bracket yet? I've got mine started, and I've got Duke going from up here right down to here to win the entire thing. I have not put anything else in there. This is how I usually do a bracket. And this year it actually works out pretty well because they're a number one seed. So we will get into that. This is my only Lock Shop of the week. I'm taking off to Disneyland with my family tomorrow morning. So it'll be Huss and the Coolbet boys the rest of the way this week. And then Monday, Tuesday next week, I'll be back next Wednesday. And I'll be looking forward to getting back, but I'm excited to get away here for a little bit as well and just chill with the fam, which is exciting. But what that'll be more exciting than the playoff was today. That was disappointing. That playoff, man. JJ Spawn just did not live up to the playoff hype. Understandable. He's going up against Rory freaking McIlroy in a playoff at a pretty big event. Rory's been there. He was 3-2. Now he's 4-2. But yeah, it was tough. I mean, basically, Spawn's first shot ends up in the rough, goes from rough into the sand out onto the green, left himself too much, managed to save the par there. And then completely flew it over the green on 17 into the drink. And that was the end of it. He took a triple and Rory ends up winning just over $4 million in his pocket. Sepp Straka is an automatic top 20 right now. It's as simple as that. It's the easiest bets in sports. That cashed again. I know I saw Big Maple look like he had a pretty good players as well. Shane Lowry snuck back into the top 20. It was there was a lot going on there, that's for sure. If you're watching over on YouTube today and you've not yet subbed to our channel, we would very much appreciate the sub. Do that and at least hammer the thumbs up for us. That would be great as well. Huss is going to be by shortly. We'll dive into the entire weekend in sports. A little Formula One action. Lando Norris, who I did say on Friday, you're picking somebody to win this thing. Lando will be the guy. He was a favorite. It's not crazy, but it was plus money. So hopefully you got on that one as well. Smitty the Welder says, "Wow, Dusty's always on vacation." Well, I mean, Christmas time, and then we go on one family trip a year, and then I just happen to be sick a lot of the other times. And then in the summer when I'm gone, it's because I'm going to do CFL football games. So this is really my only vacation of the year outside of a golf trip I do with the boys. That's usually pretty fun, and maybe there'll be a vacation in the summer. But anyway, this is kind of the big family vacation for the year as well. We will get in. So here's we're going to start with the golf. We'll work our way through the golf. We'll recap some NHL stuff over the weekend as well. Then we'll get into the NHL slate tonight. The boys are going to have a bunch of March Madness stuff as we work our way throughout the week. I already got my best bet. I laid it out on the Nielsen show this morning, but we will get to that. Zach's on the doors again. It is warm in here. We could definitely use a fan. We should have little fans on the walls that just sort of keep the room cool down. It'd be good for the equipment and us too. All right, let's bring in Huss today. Huss, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, I'm doing great.
Did you pick Rory?
Weekend.
Were you on Rory?
No, I wasn't on Rory.
For some reason, I thought you were on Rory throughout the weekend.
Yeah. I did say, though, on Friday, like, once we had that massive drop in odds, I'm like, we can get Rory at 14?
Well, and a couple of guys did Pender's Pancakes this morning while we were on the air when the playoff was on, and he's like, come on, Rory, 14-1.
I mean, he opened at 7 plus 750. And then in one shot went from 750 to 14-1. And then if you used your 30% boost, you could have taken that to like 18-1, basically, by the time you were done. So that was a hell of a hell of a deal on it. I mean, my guys were brutal, basically. I mean, there's no other way around it. Ludwig Oberg had a nice start, didn't make the cut. I mean, the one guy that I had was Justin Thomas, and JT had that 62 to come right back in it, and then It's like he used up all of his good shots in that one round and just wasn't able to turn it around. It was definitely a fun tourney, though. I feel for JJ Spawn, man. He just needed to hit that putt on 18 yesterday a little bit harder. It was perfectly going in the hole. He left a few short. And then, Pat and I were texting all weekend. The fact that Akshay ends up T3 after no showing the last couple tournaments after we've been on him was tough. But I love the players. It was a great tournament. I'm pumped for Corey Connors. I think he's going to be getting some Masters love from me. I'll go on the record saying that right now. He's going to be on the card. But yeah, listen, nice win for Rory. It was kind of a no-win situation. He either wins, of course he wins, or if he lost, it's oh my God, how did he not lose?
How could you not beat JJ Spawn? Spawn, very first shot today in the tiebreaker, into the rough, out of the rough, into the sand, and you're just like, okay, this is going to be a tough one. Takes the par. And then what I really thought was interesting, obviously he flies it over on 17. You're basically done at that point. But on 18, when Rory pushes his right, I'm doing the show. I'm like, man, if Spawn can just knock this down the middle and then maybe get a little bit lucky, at least there could be a little bit of a sweat on the green. But then he goes like even further right than Rory. And you're just like, okay, night, game over. Rory's got it.
Yeah, no, but listen, Rory was there. Where the hell were all the other big dogs?
Yeah. Fair point.
Morikawa T10'd. He was pretty good overall. He had that great second round and then was 77 on Saturday. Kentley and Fleetwood, your guy, Sepp Straka, automatic Mr. T20.
It's the best bet in golf right now. He's been top 20 like 6 times in the last 7 weeks.
But what's funny is how many guys snuck in on T20. There was 10 guys at -4.
Well, you know what's wild is that like the 4 guys I gave out last week for my bets, all 4 finished top 20 because of that stretch in the top 20. Daniel Berger was one of them. And Shane Lowry snuck back into T20 as well. So that T20, that big stretch there. Yeah, we say 10 guys at 4 under?
Yeah. It went from T20 to T30. Minwoo Lee, the chef, was looking good, and then he kind of blew up on the weekend. And Scotty, I don't know what's up. Maybe we're going to get back to an era where Scotty doesn't win every second tournament because his putter is back to being a Scotty Scheffler putter. JT, 78, 62, 73, 73. Just wild. But you know what? Hey, fun tournament, great coverage. Too bad about the rain delay yesterday and then having to go into the playoff this morning. But golf season is officially on. We got Valspar this weekend, and we're not too far away from rolling up Magnolia Lane to Augusta National as well.
Just around the corner. That should be pretty good. What do you think this does for Rory's season? Like to come out of the gate like this and bang this one out?
It's certainly a nice start. Until that's a major listen, Rory's going to win. He always wins. He hasn't won a major in 10 years. So I'm sure he'll be in a good spot. But listen, he had 2 putts at the US Open last year and, missed those. So, Rory, unfortunately for him, is going to be measured as to whether he wins majors. But he got a lot of FedEx Cup points and a fat check for winning the Players. So I'm sure he's in good spirits right now. But really, at the end of this season, we'll determine, how was Rory's year?
And get a major, yeah.
Whether he got off the schneid and won one of the 4 majors. That's kind of what I'm thinking.
I was a little panicky yesterday morning about Straka because he started 5 over through his first 6 and was like in 36th. And I was like, there's still a lot of time. And he managed to whittle his way back, finish inside the top 20. And another cover once again. I think it was, 3 weeks ago, you had him as the lock shot play of the day, T20. Yep. 2 weeks ago, I had him as the lock shot play of the day, T20. And then that was my boost play this past weekend as well. I'm telling you, Sepp Straka is as steady as they come in golf right now. So something to look forward to as you continue to work your way through the golf season. TGL.
You know what's funny?
Well, okay,
just
go ahead.
Quickly on that. So Sepp bogeyed 18. I do wonder how many of these guys bogeyed 18 because it was so hard. Well, I guess Sepp was 14th, so that doesn't really matter.
Yeah, he wasn't in the T20, yeah.
But I was talking about that T20 guys. Like if one of those guys plays 18th hole one shot better, then the other 9 guys are all out and they're T21. So the big swing on that. But yeah, you mentioned TGL. We got playoffs tonight.
We do have TGL playoffs. Just quickly on the Valspar, just so we know where the numbers are now compared to when you guys get to it on Wednesday. Tommy Fleetwood and JT are at 14-1. Xander 16-1. Sam Burns is 22. Sebstrakas 22. Connors is 25. Lowry's 25. Zalatoris is 25. Batia 28. And Jordan Spieth at 33 right now. So we'll see how much it moves as we work our way towards Valspar picks on Wednesday.
You know what? I was just talking about Corey Connors. Connors has won the Valspar twice, if I'm not mistaken. This was the tournament that he won to originally get his first trip to the Masters. I may have to jump on Corey at 25-1. Early bet in the week for the event.
Are you sure that this is the event?
Wasn't it the Valspar?
I don't know. I'm looking at Valspar and I don't see his name. I got Sam Burns won twice. Paul Casey won twice. Spieth. Let's see here. Let me look up what's his name's wins. Corey Connors wins.
PGA wins. Corey Connors. How many PG events has he won?
He's got 2 PG. Oh, Valero.
Oh, Valero.
It was the Valero Texas Open. 2000. His only 2 PGA Tour wins. Valero in 2019. Valero in 2023. Texas Open.
Okay, that's mixed. Oh, yeah, because the Valspar, of course, this is where Hadman shot to 59. This is Copperhead, the one PGA Tour course I've actually played.
Valspar, Valero. I could see the confusion there too.
It was a B thing.
But still, with the way he's playing right now, you're right. You might want to pop on him here early in the week at 25.
I like it. I like it all. We got so here we go. Semifinals in TGL tonight and tomorrow. It's tough. We've got Atlanta versus the Bay. I wanted to bet both of those teams in other games. LA, a -139 favorite against New York. People spooked about Xander Schauffele from his 81 yesterday. And is Ricky on New York too?
I'm bringing up these matchups right now. Hang on.
Because Ricky went 82-79 on the weekend after that great start. TGO. All
right, let's just see here. A few notes. Minwoo Lee will be in the Bays lineup for the semifinal against Atlanta. Wyndham Clark is out there. Now I'll just go to their website. Hang on.
Clark had to drop out. Here are the lineups for today.
Okay.
Xander, Ricky Fowler, and Cam Young versus Morikawa, Fleetwood, and Theegala. I see why LA is a -139 favorite.
I mean, you got to go with LA here, right?
Yep. Yeah, I will be.
And what about that other matchup, though?
Well, the other matchup for tomorrow, I know Pat and I have been part of the Bay Hive, but over the course of the TGL season, you've
been pumping up Atlanta GC all the time, buddy.
I know. I wasn't at the start, but as the season's gone on, I think that they're the best team. So I think I'm going to be running with Atlanta tomorrow. What are the futures right now? Atlanta's plus 260 to win the whole thing.
Third best odds. I mean, it's close. Yeah. LA and the Bay are both plus 250. Yeah.
It's basically 3 teams, and then New York's a little bit of a ways back. But for tomorrow's game, we've got Atlanta and at -110, the Bay -125. A Bay LA Atlanta parlay Oh, wow. You can use the 30% multiplier on TGL too if you want. I'll save that for the Valspar. But plus 228. Plus 228 if you want to get in on LA and Atlanta for tomorrow. I'm going to throw that in.
RJ over in the chat says, going up against Rory on St. Patty's Day, he never had a chance. That's true. Huss, what do you do for St. Patty's Day festivities? You're out and about most nights. What's the plan tonight?
Go out and a mix of Irish car bombs, Jameson straight, beers, I mean, the fact that it's a Monday coming off a weekend is a little tough. But I mean, probably I'll finish the shows. I've got a couple hours of work to do afterwards, and then might slink down to the pub for a couple to see what the festivities are like. Although, what a weekend, dude. Like this weekend here, the game on Friday night, the Jets-Dallas game, was full playoff atmosphere in the building. Just trouncing
Looks
them.
like you guys were having a riot. I saw some of the pics.
Dude, it was so good because that game was like post deadline, and I know Hintz wasn't playing, and obviously Heiskanen's out right now. But it did seem like, okay, now, Dallas is past the Jets. Oh, Colorado's past the Jets. So there's a lot of people that I think were kind of expecting, okay, the Cinderella story is about to end. And I mean, they came out and just absolutely took it to Dallas. I mean, Hellebuck was great, but didn't really need to be. I mean, it was just one of those games and Dallas had been beating everybody heading into that game. So we're now basically in the spot where after their win last night, I didn't want to talk too much about, the President's Trophy, whatever, it would be cool to get that banner. I mean, it doesn't really matter in the big picture. I mean, I actually went through this yesterday wondering, someone's like, no, we don't want the President's Trophy. You never win if you get that. Not really true. In the last 25 years, you've got as good of a chance if you win the President's Trophy as any. Like basically, there's been 4 President's Trophies, 2 second place. 4 teams have been first, 4 teams have been second, 2 have been third, 4 have been fourth. And then 2 fifth, 1 sixth, 2 seventh, 2 eighth, 1 10th, 1 12th in the last 25 cup winners. So basically just that tells you the good teams win the cup. No kidding.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to shy away from being the top team. And I mean, listen, home ice, I mean, if it came down to it, there's always a good thing to have, especially if you're a team like the Jets with a 25-5-4 home record. But the big thing is it pretty much locks them in to first place in the West, which means the second wild card. And, Vancouver's got it right now. But they lost to Utah last night. That's a big win for Utah.
Huge win, yeah.
Yeah. Like just when I pull it up kind of via wild card, Minnesota, who has lost 2 in a row, still has a 6-point cushion over the Canucks. The Canucks are 73. St. Louis is 73, but they've got an extra game. Calgary's only played 65 games, so they've got 3 games in hand on St. Louis, 2 on Vancouver. They're 2 back. And then you've got Utah that is at 71 and is 2 points back with the same amount of games played as Vancouver. So it really is a 4-horse race right now with 4 teams within 2 points. Obviously, just differentiating. Calgary would sort of have an advantage because of the amount of games that they still have to make up. Jets are in Vancouver tomorrow, which will be interesting. I mean, that's you got to make the most of your home games. And I mean, they lost to Montreal last week. They lost to Utah last night. And they're going to have to be good if they want to beat Winnipeg because the Jets have been rolling again. Luke Schenn might be the most popular player ever to have only played 2 or 3 games.
Seriously?
Dude. He came in. He's just a road grader. He's exactly what the Jets have needed. First period in the game on Friday, wherever I'm kind of looking at the play, it's coming down towards us. I look in the back, and he's planted Mikko Rantanen inside the net. And Hellebuck's just sitting there kind of looking over his shoulder. He's kind of standing up there, and then Mikko gets up, kind of bangs his stick, says something to the ref. I mean, the Jets were sorely lacking. And I mean, I know they had Logan Stanley in it. He's a big guy. He doesn't have any of the real ruggedness, toughness that Luke Schenn has. So he's been a real nice add. And I mean, Brandon Tanev, Tanev is so much fun to have on your team. The guy's like a Tasmanian devil out there. So yeah, it was good. And then on your side, I guess the show was probably a little bit more tolerable today. A couple wins on the weekend.
Couple of tight wins. Snuck by the eye level. Oh, that's the thing. Like we were talking about on our show this morning. Like last week at this time, we're like, are they back? Then they came home and went on the road, lost a bad one, lost another one. You're like, I don't know. Maybe they're not back. Then they win these two games. And they were low scoring, tight affairs. You're like, so this morning we're asking, like, what do you need to see from this team to say that they are back? And people are like, like 5 or 6 pretty solid games or 3 games in a row without putting McDavid and Draisaitl together and that type of thing. So, I mean, people are happy. They come home for a big 4-game homestand. Obviously, the Jets rolling in on Thursday. They get Utah tomorrow. Utah's only got 2 regulation losses in their last 10. Then they get the Kraken, but then Dallas comes to town as well. So Jets and Stars on this current 4-game homestand for the Oilers, which will really kind of tell you where this team is at right now. Huss, I wanted to ask you, because we have this conversation with the Oilers all the time, like Winnipeg's having a phenomenal season. How far do they have to get in the postseason for the season to not kind of come away disappointing, do you think, in that market?
I mean, I would sort of probably say conference finals. You got to get out. But to be honest, I think it'll be harder to win the Central Division than win the West.
Think so?
Well, I mean, I look at the other teams around, and to me, I think Dallas. The winner of Dallas, Colorado, in round 2. I mean, is there any? I'm not sure there's any team in the Pacific that I would take against the winner of that series right now. So,
yeah, I mean, with the way those two teams are playing right now, I would agree. The teams over here in the Pacific have all been like 500 hockey here for about, a month.
Dude, Vegas has been very
They've had some
mediocre.
bad losses recently, yeah.
Oh, man, they're just kind of going through it. I mean, the Oilers have stunk leading up until, I know they got these 2 wins against the Islanders and Rangers. The Kings are really good, but I think I'm still... if it was Dallas or Colorado against the Kings, I think I'm taking them, and certainly against the wild cards. So the absolute disaster would be losing in the first round. I mean, that would completely erase everything that they've done. If they end up going the distance and losing in 6 or 7 to a really good Dallas or Colorado team, it'll be disappointing, but it's not like, oh my God, playoff format and all that. Because that's the one thing, as the number 1 team in the conference, you kind of should benefit from playing the lower team. And that's obviously not going to be the case. And listen, it's not the case in the Atlantic either. We get that. But if they're able to come out of the Central Division, depending on what happens in the Pacific, I'm still hoping we still get our lock shop series with the Jets and Oilers. Much like in 2018 when the Jets beat Nashville in round 2. And if you recall, Winnipeg and Nashville were 1-2 in the entire standings of the league. Like Nashville won the President's Trophy. The Jets were 3 back, and they were second in the Central, and they were second overall. Once the Jets won that series and we're playing Vegas, you kind of feel, okay, the path is right there. Now, it's not, I don't think that would be the case. Whoever comes out of the Pacific to win two series is going to be in a good spot. But it'll come down to assuming they're able to win the first round against whatever wild card team they get. playing their best against whoever survives between Dallas and Colorado. And I think whoever wins that series is probably going to be the favorite in the third round to get to the Cup final. Now, again, that's all subject to the one thing is the Oilers. I mean, the Oilers are as bad as they've looked for the last little while. We all know that they could come out tomorrow night or Thursday night or in the first game of the playoffs and look like world beaters again. Now, it's dependent on a few guys in particular, but the rest of it, I think there's a lot riding on the rest of this supporting cast, because you know what you're going to get from playoff McDavid, from playoff Draisaitl. Yeah. But, do they have that's the great thing about the Jets. They're so deep. Everyone's contributing right now. And I know I laughed so hard when I saw it. So Kapanen got bumped to the first line yesterday.
He got bumped up to the first line yesterday. Yeah, Hyman was hurt, didn't play, and they decided to give Kapanen the bump. So, I mean, he scored 1 goal since January 1st. Even like Ryan Nugent-Hopkins has 1 goal since February 1st. It's mid-March now. Like, he has 1 goal and 9 points since February 1st, and 3 of those points came last night. So, like, even the guys who are supposed to be like your secondaries, like your top secondary scores, haven't been doing it. So now in this last little stretch, Arvidsson's got a couple of goals in his last 5 games. That kind of helps. They've been getting a little bit of offense from the blue line, but for the most part, it's still for a large part Draisaitl, and then Connor McDavid right there as well. We talked about it with Darren Dreger this morning. Do we have those Hart Trophy odds right now? Draisaitl's still at front. Like, this whole Draisaitl-Hellebuck thing is probably going to tear the lock shop apart. Hey, like, between ES tiers and WS tiers in that nasty chat. Like, when it comes time to vote on the Hart Trophy, it's going to be very interesting to see where this falls, because to me, it's a 50-50. It's a 50-50 race between those two guys.
I'm so glad I got that bet in yesterday. And I did do my PSA. I told people, if you want a piece of this at plus 190, you better get in right now before it changes. Right now, we just have the and the Jets have dropped too. Yeah, there are actually a couple things. The Jets have dropped from 13-1 to 11-1. Their Western Conference winner number is still at plus 520. But as of yesterday, the Hart odds were Draisaitl minus 149, Hellebuck plus 190, and McKinnon plus 450. I think we're going to get back to where we were before, like about a month ago, when it was Draisaitl minus 115, Hellebuck even money. Now, at that point, McKinnon was plus 650. But, I mean, listen, if Hellebuck doesn't win this year, just say that goalies aren't eligible to win, because he is leading the league in save percentage, goals against average, wins, shutouts. I believe he's still leading in minutes played, and if he's not, he's a close second. I mean, it is impossible to have a better year right now than Hellebuck is having. Oh, and by the way, he's also backstopping the team that's the best record in the National Hockey League. Like, I legitimately don't know what more that he could do. And this isn't taken away from Draisaitl's season at all. Draisaitl's been awesome. He's always going to have a tough spot just because he's like the 1B on a team that has the best player in the world. But to me, like, I think I was just looking at this, like, it had nothing to do with Edmonton, nothing to do with Winnipeg. It wasn't my guy. I'd look and say, well, wait a second. I would think that the guy that's leading the league in literally everything at that position would be leading the way. But listen, there is a bias. Oh, there's a trophy for goalies. Well, there's an Art Ross trophy for the top scorer. There's a Selke trophy for the top defensive forward. So I will we'll have some fun talking about that here. I'm going to try to will it. I'm going to try to will it into happening, because of course you recall it was in December, I think, when I asked the guys to get a number on Hellebuck for the Hart, and we got it posted at 20-1. So there's a bunch of 20-1s in the lock shop and in WST. And then I doubled down on it yesterday at plus 190. I'm like, okay, you know what? This, we're in a situation here that this is a very, very undervalued number. If he doesn't win it, I'll be pissed off, but I'll still say that it made a lot of sense to jump in because, as I say, I expect this to be significantly lower the next time we see it on it. And the awards are off the board right now while they were up all weekend long. So right now we just got Stanley Cup and the Western and Eastern Conference winners. You know what else I'd like to see? And I wonder if the guys can get this up. Exact Cup final matchups. You know, like, so you can pick, I'm thinking it's going to be Edmonton, Toronto, or I'd like to get a little
fun.
I'd like to get, well, those are always good because they're essentially a parlay of a Western Conference and an Eastern Conference winners. So usually the numbers are pretty good. But we had a big, like, how crazy would it be after Paul Maurice won the Cup last year and said he wanted the Winnipeg Jets to be the next team that wins the Stanley Cup, that it would be Winnipeg and Florida playing in the Cup? You know how the script writers work. Maurice against his old team. I mean, oh man, it'd be juicy. So when that comes up there, I will be looking for a, let's see, if you stick parlay, 17-1, it says that it would be if you did it manually. But you can't pop it in there. So anyways, we'll work on, maybe we can get some exact matchups, series matchups. We certainly will be before the playoffs at some point. But yeah, I know the vibes are high right now, and they were all weekend long after that win against Dallas. And then nice to see them be able to come back from a 2-0 deficit last night and get her done on the same night as it's too bad it was an off day for the guys. We could have maybe had a little for the community with a little Oilers Jets parlay.
That would have been good. We're going to get to some basketball, some madness stuff here. But we do have to do our NHL slate for tonight. But Coolbet has just tweeted out Huss photoshopped as Dickie V. You got to go see this, Huss. You got to go see this. It's much better. You look much better than Friar Tuck. I don't know how you do that. Like Jake, that's got to be AI, right? Like that's, my God. That is so well done. I mean, where'd you do that, man?
Jake is a master of the face swap app.
Is that an app? Is it just face swap? Is that what it is?
There's something like that.
God, it looks terrific. Yeah. Jake says, yes, AI. I mean, it's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. That is amazing, man.
Oh my God. Is that funny, Jake? Well done.
I love it. That's just too good. All right. Okay. Well, we'll come back around to the madness because we're smack dab. Let's just get a look at this NHL slate tonight. And then we'll take a look. I know you guys are going to be doing a bunch of stuff for March Madness. I'm trying to fill up my bracket here before I leave today. So I'm getting that done as well. But go ahead.
We'll get your thoughts on who you're liking and maybe a couple of futures before we're done. By the way, Jake, as we get into these games, we got Calgary at Toronto tonight. I did watch the Leafs Sens game. The Sens are closer than they appear in the mirror. But just what are you thinking about the Leafs tonight? Let us know.
Yeah, Jake, hit us up there. Huss, by the way, I did have this up before I got sidetracked by Hussy V. Just in case regular NHL stats weren't enough for anybody who's going to be voting for the Hart. Hellebuck's goals saved above expected is 36.6, which is like 8 more than any other goalie in the league. Like he's leading in like everything. Like no matter how you break it down into which category, he's pretty much right at the top. So it's been that type of year, man. It's been that type of year for this guy.
Yeah, he's up against it. I mean, he's on Winnipeg, a team that a lot of people don't pay attention to until they have to. And a lot of people don't dive into that stuff. But I think by the time we get to the end, like there's more and more voices saying, hey, hold on a second here. We got to legitimately consider this guy. And the fact that the team keeps winning and looks like a pretty good bet to lock down first in the West and potentially a President's Trophy, I mean, I think it's going to be hard to go against them by the time it all sits down, and that's not taking anything away from the great season that Leon Draisaitl's having.
All right, we've got 5 games tonight in the NHL, and actually, as of this moment, we have goaltenders for all 10 teams, which is nice. There's none of these unconfirmed. So, Flyers at Lightning, Vasilevsky likely to start. Fedotov will go for the Philadelphia Flyers. Korpisalo for the Bruins. Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen for the Buffalo Sabres. Jet Greaves will start for the Columbus Blue Jackets. Jake Allen will go for the New Jersey Devils. Joseph Woll, Dustin Wolf in that Calgary-Toronto game. And then Gustafsson confirmed for Minnesota. Darcy Kemper ready to go for the Los Angeles Kings. And Jake says over in the chat, we can keep the Leafs chatter to a minimum. I have no faith in them as of right now. So that's where we're at. 5 games tonight in the NHL. Decent little Monday slate here, actually. More options than we usually have on a Monday to put together a little 3-gamer. Huss, so what are you looking at, buddy? What do you like?
Well, I mean, I'm very interested in this Leafs Calgary game. I mean, obviously, first and foremost for the Western wild card race, this is one of these games in hand that Calgary has. They don't mean anything if you don't win them. And the reason why I kind of asked Jake about where he's at right now is just, what we expect to get out of the Maple Leafs. I mean, they played a really hungry Ottawa team. They came back from down a goal on a couple of occasions. And, Ottawa's just 2 points back of them. I mean, like literally there's still 16 games left in the regular season for both of these teams. I mean, if they keep on going, I mean, obviously Ottawa's not going to win every game. They've won 6 in a row. But they could barge into that conversation where potentially the Leafs end up being a wild card, which is crazy to me. I feel like the Leafs are the better team, and I feel like the Leafs should win. I don't think that they probably should be a -196 favorite tonight, though. I mean, with what's been happening, I do think they'll win, though. So I guess I have to roll with Toronto on that one.
Yeah, like the Leafs have not been playing well, but Calgary has 2 wins in their last 8 games. Like it's not like the Leafs haven't been playing well and Calgary's coming in hot. Like Calgary in their last 8 games, shut out by Tampa 3-0, shut out by Florida 3-0, lost to Carolina 2-1, surprised everybody and scored 6 goals against Philly, lost to Dallas 3-2, beat the Habs 1-0, lost to Vancouver in a shootout 4-3, and then just lost to Colorado 4-2 as well. So it's not like Calgary's coming in here and this is a insurmountable task for the Leafs. I'm with you on the -196. Like for a parlay, I guess it's not the end of the world, but I guess what I'm saying is I don't like the Flames in an upset spot here at +165. Yeah, no, I think we can. Now, if we have better options, we don't need to have the Leafs on it, but I do think the Leafs will be on. I assume that's the Amazon game tonight, so we'll get some good coverage of it. Buffalo, Boston, the Bruins. Is Buffalo a road favorite in this? I mean, it's almost a pick 'em, but
did the Bruins play yesterday or something? Is that why
Buffalo is a slight road favorite in this one. Boston played Saturday, lost 6-2 to Tampa. Both of these teams are coming off Saturday games.
Why in the world would Buffalo be favored against anybody on the road?
Yeah, that doesn't. Let me just double check the goalies here. Korpisalo, Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. I mean,
so it's because they're going with Corpy instead of Swayman? I
guess, but Buffalo only has 2 wins in their last 9. Now, one was against Edmonton, one was against Vegas. I'll give them that. But in between those 2 games, they gave up 7 to Detroit. So, what's Buffalo on the road this year? Buffalo's got 9 road wins all year. Why are they the favorite in this game? Boston's 19-12-5 at home. Who's Boston missing? Are they missing, like, is Pasternak out? What's going on here?
The Bruins, they've lost their last 2, but before that, they beat the Panthers and beat the Lightning. Anyways, unless we see, let's pull this up, daily lines.
Pasternak's playing. Zach is playing.
Middlestat's in. Lindholm's in. McAvoy's still out.
So I guess it's just that Swayman's not going here. I mean, I can't see any other reason.
Top two defensemen. They're down their top two defensemen. Yeah, that blue line is yikes. Zadorov and Jokiharju, their top pairing. Mason Lohrei, Andrew Peeke, Ian Mitchell, Parker Wotherspoon. Maybe they're onto something here. What about Buffalo?
Well, do we ride with the fishy line then? At minus 114? Like usually we sniff it up.
And take Buffalo?
Yeah. I mean, but if we put Buffalo in a parlay and they lose, we're going to be like, why the hell were we on Buffalo as a road favorite? Like, they have 9 wins all season on the road. And yeah, they played better beating Edmonton, but Edmonton hadn't been playing that great. And Vegas has been losing to a bunch of bad teams. And prior to that, they were getting pumped by everybody. So I don't know. I mean, let's see the other 3 games. Maybe we just stay away from this game. What else do we got? We got the Devils, Jackets, Flyers, Lightning, and the Kings, Wild. Can we build something out of those 3 games?
The Devils at the Jackets is interesting because New Jersey finds themselves, I mean, like they've fallen off, and obviously with Jack Hughes being out, they're really challenged, to score. I mean, they've sort of been hanging in, but man, they lost to the Penguins 7-3 in their last time out after that quick 3-game winning streak, but before that, they lost 3 in a row.
But look at Vegas. Look at Columbus, though. They've been shut out 4-0 in back-to-back games.
I know. And listen, I don't think that's happening all the time. Like this is kind of Columbus's last stand in some ways. Like they've lost 5 of their last 6.
One of those was to New Jersey.
Yeah, a 5-3 game. Tough to beat a team at home twice. I don't know. The Blue Jackets have been shocking people all year long.
They also are 20. They have 20 wins, 8 losses, and 4 shootout or overtime losses at home. So they're a 20-win team at home already.
Mm-hmm.
But they've lost. This is the 3rd game of a 3-game homestand. They've been shut out both other games.
They're due to score some goals tonight. They definitely are. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That game was on Saturday. I mean, I don't have a strong lean on this game, but part of me wants to just say, okay.
I mean, Blue Jackets are due to score some goals. They're usually good at home.
Yeah, and they're coming off 2 successive losses at home. I mean, this is a game that they absolutely have to have. And as I said, with the Devils right now, be a ballsy pick putting Columbus on as a home dog, but I don't necessarily mind it.
I mean, we're looking at maybe having a couple of these types of ballsy picks on here tonight. So, all right, Flyers, Tampa. Let's go there then. Tampa's minus 294 at home. Where do we get the value in this one? Puck line minus 1.5.
What's the
reg? The reg is minus 175.
175. It's not even.
I mean, that's parlayable. It's much better than the money line number, but.
What about Kings Wild?
Oh, man. So here, let's look at this. Philly has lost 6 of 7. Their one win was against Tampa, 4-3. I mean, does Tampa not avenge this? Like, Philly hasn't been playing good against anybody else. All of those other losses were by 3 goals or more. Then they beat Tampa in a shootout. I think Tampa takes care of business tonight.
Puck line
minus 1.5. I'd be okay with that.
I think that's it. Minus 112. So we've got the Leafs, we've got Tampa. If we want to include the Jackets, it gets to plus 523. Minnesota's not getting any of their guys back, I don't think.
Kings are very meh on the road, but that's a huge game. They get that. They bounce back up over the Oilers into second. Kemper's going to start. I think he's coming off a shutout.
Well, yeah, and I mean, again, the Wild just are. They don't have the guns.
Kings have won 5 in a row.
Against these teams.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be okay with the Kings there too. If you like, what do you like more, the Kings or the Maple Leafs? If we're in on the Blue Jackets, if we like the Blue Jackets, or we get out of the Blue Jackets.
I'm very iffy on the Blue Jackets.
So if we go Leafs, Kings, plus the Lightning on the puck line, it's plus 371.
Mm-hmm. Although, you know what? We're just taking these two bigger favorites, one on a puck line. Where do you come across? Do we want to do a bigger number and kind of take a swing with Columbus?
I don't. What would that change the number to? Like, let's say, what do you think? Leafs out? No. Well, I don't know. We're going to get it over 4-1 anyway.
Yeah, let's do it.
I mean, let's just
try and get a winner tonight with these three teams.
All right, so we got the Kings
money line, Kings money line, Lightning puck line, plus 371 before we boost.
I think both Pat and Jake are already in there. We've got some great combos that we'll hit on as well. You guys are going to get into the madness throughout the week. I take Duke every single year to win it because they're my guys. But this year they come in as a number 1 seed. I laid it out this morning.
Duke guy.
Yeah, I'm always a Duke guy. Cooper Flagg, man, like this guy's the real deal. And I know that he was banged up, but they still ended up winning the tournament. And he's going to be available for the madness, which is good. I already laid it out this morning on the Nielsen show. Duke to come out of the East. So just to make the Final Four, minus 125 is my favorite bet of the tournament. And it's not too chalky. So I do like that. You guys are going to get into it. What do you guys? I'm very jealous of this. You guys are going to do a first round draft of spread picks.
Yeah.
God.
We're going to we'll have a little head to head. Probably on Wednesday, I guess, because everything's going to be starting. Oh, geez, or maybe tomorrow because we'll have golf. Well, we'll figure it out. But the next 2 days, obviously, we'll hit the Valspar. It's going to be lots of hockey. We got the second TGL game tomorrow. But we do like LA tonight, and I have put down the LA Atlanta combo for the to make it to the final, and then we're gonna dive into spread picks for round 1 of March Madness, and we'll do a little snake draft and pick some for our favorite sides and do a little fun head to header, and then of course fill out brackets. We will take a look at these exclusives right away, and they're all St. Patrick's Day themed, which is great. Nice work, Patty and Jake and the crew. I did put together a little ride with Dusty on this Lakers game tonight. They played yesterday, played extremely well, beat the Suns, who are a god-awful mess, and now they get the banged-up Spurs tonight. Lakers to win, Luka with 3+ three-pointers, 7+ rebounds, and Austin Reeves, 22+ points. That is plus 200. Over on the Lock Shop exclusives. You know what else is happening tonight in the NBA? Nuggets, Warriors. And the Warriors have been outstanding. They've got 1 loss with Jimmy Butler in the lineup since he came aboard. I think they've won 7 in a row. The Nuggets over the weekend barely got by the Lakers, who they were missing 4 starters and 2 of their top rotation guys. No Luka, no nothing. And they barely got by them. And then they lost to the Wizards the next day, if I'm correct. So I don't know what's going on in Denver right now, but just as a basketball fan, I'm excited to watch the Nuggets and the Warriors tonight. So that's a game that you might want to try to find some value on if you can. Warriors 4-point favorites in this game, minus 172 on the money line. If you think the Nuggets can sort of get it together and rise up, plus 145 on the money line for Denver on the road against GSW. Yeah, it's where are they? Yeah, they're 20-14 on the road so far this year. But yeah, Denver, their last 3, they lost by 20 at home to Minnesota. They beat the Lakers by 5. That game was tied with like 2 minutes left, and the Lakers are missing everybody except Reeves. And then they lost at home to Washington, 126-123. So
They've also, and the Nugs have only covered 2 of their last 10 against the spread. So that's something to think about, whereas Golden State has been absolutely rolling. Now, not a ton of great teams in there, but they did beat the Knicks twice in this most recent stretch. So just going to be a fun basketball game tonight. I hope we get the best of both of those clubs tonight. I look forward to watching that.
Yeah, well, as I said, I'm getting more. Well, it's going to be college hoops this week, and then we'll get ready for the playoffs. By the way, the Raptors are winning some games lately. I know they lost their last time out, but they're actually in 11th. Like they're still 4.5 games back of the Bulls for that final spot. Is this just no man's land? They're going to just miss the play-in and then still be picking like 11th? Although, did they trade their pick anyway for Podol?
I don't think they traded this year's pick. But what they should be doing is doing what Washington and Utah are doing, and they both have 15 wins. Go get Cooper Flagg, man. He is the real deal. And I know everybody will hate him because he comes from Duke, but he's good. Raptors kind of in no man's land. I think you laid it out.
Duke doesn't have their the same, like, guys just going in for 1 year and out. It's not like they really become Duke guys.
Yeah, that's a fair point. There's not like a bunch of 3 or 4 year guys coming out of there. Well, there's usually a couple of little guards that'll stick around for a bit. But yeah, anyway, exclusives tonight. Let's get into this. We got about 4 minutes left. There's some good ones. You got Feeling Lucky and Kucherov with a point. Doncic with 30 plus 120. I mean, if Luka plays like he played yesterday, 30 is definitely within his grasp against this San Antonio team right now. A pot of gold. Can you do a good Irish accent, Huss? Mine sucks.
A pot of gold. Oh. We've got David Pasternak, Braden Point, Austin Matthews, plus 1069 for the pot of gold.
Oh, that is good. Keep going. That's good.
Don't forget about your friends in the lock shop because they came up with the juicy partner parlay coming out at a plus 434. We got the Tampa Bay Lightning playing the lowly Flyers, taking the puck line on that one, minus 1.5. And we will hold our nose and take the Toronto Maple Leafs against the Calgary Flames on the money line. And Kaprizov and Joel Eriksson still on the IR, Minnesota. They're taking on water right now. We go with the Kings. Kings money line tonight, plus 134. Get it before the number changes over at Coolbet Canada. Top of the page to you in the combo card.
Oh, buddy, you're the best. That's too good. I love it. So that's a lock shop partner parlay. The Shamrock setups. That's Jesper Bratt with an assist, Cooch with an assist, Mitchie Marner with an assist, plus 328. St. Poitrix Day. Werenski with a point. Darling with a point. Victor Hedman with a point, plus 341. Pucky Charms. Alex Tuck over 2.5. This is shots. Alex Tuck over 2.5 shots. Mitchkov over 2.5 shots. Willie Nylander over 2.5 shots. And then there's a bunch of other ones here as well, but those are the ones with the the great names today. So yeah, man, that combo cards are absolutely loaded at the top of the page over at Coolbet right now.
Today's a great day to take a swing. It's the day of luck. So let's make it happen on St. Patrick's Day here in the combo card.
What's in an Irish car bomb, Huss? What did you say you're going to get into? What's I think I've had them before, but what is it?
That's a Guinness with a shot of Jameson in it.
Yeah, God, I have had those a couple of times. That's not my choice of. That's not my choice of either liquor. Ugh, God.
Yeah, I will be avoiding. I might have a couple green beers, but I'll try and not jump on any Irish car bombs tonight.
WST today, buddy. What's coming up?
We got a busy show. I mean, just wrapping a huge weekend for the Jets. The Friday win over Dallas, last night's win over Seattle. Mike McIntyre's on the road with the team. He's going to join us from the West Coast, and we're going to head to Denver, kind of take in the Rantanen return last night in the battle between Colorado and Dallas, and almost their inevitable meeting in the first round with our pal Will Paterson in Denver. So going to be a great show coming up.
Excellent, buddy. You have fun with the boys while I'm down in Disneyland. I'll be checking in right there in the United States for the madness. First round of March Madness is going to be a lot of fun, man. And I'll be back next Wednesday. All right.
Looking forward to it, pal. Looking forward to it. You and the kids have a great time. Are you going to get to a game while you're down there?
No. I just have a hard time leaving my family behind to go to a Lakers game. I tried to last time. Then actually it was Lakers and Mavs last time. And AD, Luka, and LeBron were all out. So I resold my ticket and got out of it.
That's the NBA. That's the NBA for you, folks.
I'll find my time. I'm finding my time. I think I'm targeting a playoff game this year. I'll whip down for to check it out. So fingers crossed I can get that done in the spring, which will be a lot of fun. All right, Huss. Enjoy the action tonight. Have fun with the boys. Keep it rolling in golf, and I'll talk to you next week, man.
You got it, pal. Take it easy.
See you later. That's going to do it for the Lock Shop Oil Stream coming up next year on EST.